All right, good evening. Welcome in. We are SEC After Dark, presented by Windows 95, apparently.
Yeah,
My hot
seriously.
takes are being fueled by um, my ML Rose cup that's filled with the greatest cocktail ever, bourbon and ginger, a little Bellmead bourbon. So joining me is Steve Willis, Jeb Beecham, and our newest addition, Jake Thomas. What's up, boys?
How you doing?
Good guys, how y'all
Yeah, I'm
doing?
great.
Yeah, let's hope nobody calls in with Corey on net zero during this show. We're gonna go for as long as we can.
We're going to ask G's, and then we're going to make Lycos go fast.
Yeah.
So I got an action-packed show, apparently. We hope you're having a better week than my internet. It is. It's in this last hurrah. Fiber is coming. It's kind of like winter is coming, but instead of winter, it's fiber. We hope you're having a better week than the University of Texas special teams coach, Jeff Banks, which we'll get into in a minute. We hope you're having the last time they won it. I was a fifth grader.
Oh, wow.
I did not watch a single pitch of Major, and it was just bizarre. Related? No. Is this Ole Miss related? No.
You've been stuck watching marathons.
Seeing it's
We
basically
are SEC After Dark. If you want to follow us, look down below. Hit us, subscribe on the YouTube. Hit that bell on whatever the 25 channels you're watching us on. Hit that bell. You'll get us. Good afternoon, DGD. Welcome, man. Welcome to the chat. William McKnight. Welcome to the chat. Stacy, good to see you as always.
yeah. It goes without
got a lot
saying
to
that
talk
we kind of blew up on the echoing this week, and we're up over 20 providers providing what's going on. So yeah, it's get ready for chat to blow up. That's all I'm saying.
Just like I'm kind of got some internet issues tonight. Just like Georgia kind of beat Florida this past weekend.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, does anybody have an AOL disc they can loan Corey? Seriously. Corey's prodigy is messing up.
Somebody just keeps trying to fax stuff to me, man. What the hell? I think Pole Assassin's monkey chewed through my internet cable.
Yeah, you like that I put in the topics, I put Pole Assassin on there?
Yeah, I was hoping you would because you didn't ask me. Usually I get a text from Steve, hey, what's our topics? And he must have just read my mind because Pole Assassin and playoff rankings were two of the things that were on my mind. So
I imagine
Yeah.
Pole Assassin has been on many men's mind.
trying to figure out what exactly that means.
There it is.
See, we were all thinking it. Steve just went ahead and blew it up and said it. So, like, that's a crazy story to wake up to on Monday.
Corey, can you walk us through it?
Yeah, so I was trick or treating, right, and brought my kid, and I was like, hey, it's Pole Assassin. This is awesome. Let's explore the rest of the house. Apparently, her monkey did not have that in mind. We were not welcome.
Her emotional support monkey, by the way, that doubles as a part of her act in her show.
Yeah.
We're talking about classy broad here, somewhere in between Hooters and Waffle House.
Definitely not going to ML Rose. That's for sure.
Yeah, she probably could not get a job at Twin Peaks.
Probably not. They don't have enough holes there. Yeah, we'll let that one simmer for a second. So yeah, I mean, there's just so many jokes you can make out of this one. Yeah, his mom's trying to use the phone. Yeah, she's trying to call her friend Betsy. Pole Assassin coming to Spirit Halloween near you. Yeah, how many people are going to be at for Halloween next year?
A Pole Assassin.
Oh my goodness! I just want to lean into this. I really do. But
is it pretty much on brand for Stark to hire somebody like this?
the funny thing is, part of Sark's recruiting strategy at Texas is the family atmosphere. So this is the opposite. They're not like doing New Orleans or being exotic or anything going on. So this is so detrimental to what their message has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just a fantastic way for Texas to come into the SEC. It's just fantastic.
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
welcome.
the pole assassin's emotional support monkey bit a kid to where basically you had to do the jaws of life to get it off of the kid. That's a crazy story. And the coach that did it was in line to get the Washington State job. This just, not only that, it cost him a job. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So Jeb, mark that down as don't leave your wife for a stripper that has an emotional support monkey.
Wife and child.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got kids.
Yeah, don't forget about the kid.
I forgot about kid.
Unless I don't want kids wandering onto my property. Apparently, that keeps them away pretty well.
Yeah, I need an emotional
all left
support
after that.
monkey that doubles as a pole dancer assistant.
That also triples as a security guard. Apparently,
Yeah, that's a heck
does
of
the
a guard
monkey
dog.
have an OnlyFans account? Steve, why don't you research that for us?
What's that?
Why don't you research that for us? If the monkey has an OnlyFans,
I think the
account.
monkey's name is Gia, so probably. Sounds like a good stripper name.
Yeah.
Wasn't Gia a terrible Jennifer Lopez movie with Ben Affleck?
That was
That was-
Jiggly.
Geely? Oh, okay.
I don't
See-
remember.
Jiggly
Seems
is
like there's
nice.
maybe Gia wasn't an Angelina Jolie movie. It's something from the 90s. Anyway.
If you knew who we worked with back when I met Steve, you would know why we know this reference.
Hey,
Yeah.
you good.
Let that sink in, Steve. You figure out who I'm talking about. I'll never financially recover from this. Yeah.
Yeah. I need an emotional support monkey.
The monkey assisted her pole dancing routines. I honestly did not know this. That's amazing. I heard the story, but I didn't read details.
I
It
did.
is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. This is
Hey, but the benefit is this is the perfect thing to go with Texas's 6-6 season.
Ooh, good point.
at least they're interesting.
Yeah.
At least they're interesting. You know what the city of Austin's slogan is, right?
Okay.
Keep Austin weird.
Oh yeah. They stole that from Portland.
So whatever they stole it from, they're living up to it. They're probably living up to it better than Portland at this point.
Yeah.
I thought Steve Austin's logo or little catchphrase is like Austin 316 said, "I just whipped your ass."
Yeah. Different Austin. Different
Okay.
Austin.
Okay,
Different on.
sorry,
That's,
my wrestling background.
We celebrate that every March 16th.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Day.
All right, let's get into the breakdown of last week so we're not here 2 hours tonight.
So we're not going to break down Pole Assassin for 2 hours?
It's,
We could.
it sounds like Jeff Banks is doing that.
Well, I'm
All
guessing they
right,
needed
all
emotional
right,
support
all
after
right.
That's
Baylor
right.
whooped him.
Comment on that? No, he's played the bongos, though. Recently. Yeah. So, cocktail party, huh?
Cocktail party. That game went exactly like you would expect it to go. Dan Mullen is absolutely. It's almost like he's having a mental breakdown at the moment. Did you see him the other day talking about how they don't recruit until it's time to recruit, which obviously isn't true. But the fact that he even said it's just ridiculous. And they shut down media opportunities. It's just Dan Mullen is not taking losing to the school up north very well.
Nope.
He's not taking the Florida job is obviously crushing him. He's just a weird guy.
He needs to just feign heart problems and just do it now. Just get out of there.
There you go.
Well, he won't have to in a couple of weeks. He's going to get fired. So, that they've at this point, like he's established that he's going to go down with the ship, and he's going to let Grantham be on the ship and sink the ship, and he's going to go down with it. So, I guess I guess some schools get him, some mid-major school, and the MAC.
Penn
He'll probably
State,
go to
Penn
the
State will
MAC.
get him. If James Franklin goes to USC, Dan Mullen is going to go after Penn State with everything he has.
That would be awesome.
I'd be fine with them taking Bill O'Brien back.
Yeah, I've figured as much, Jake. Sorry about that.
So here's what's going to happen, Jake. Penn State is going to take Bill O'Brien, and then Nick Saban's going to hire Dan Mullen.
Hey, I mean, he might be a great offensive coordinator. He might not be cut for a head coaching job. I mean, like Steven said a few weeks ago, his peak was Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I think that's it for a Dan Mullen type coach. I mean, we've seen that with Will Muschamp and others. They're great defense coordinators, offense coordinators. They're just not good head coaches.
Yeah, I mean, some people.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. Also, other than Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier, who's won at Florida?
No. Nobody.
I mean, Spurrier came in and pass happy when it was ground and pound in the SEC. Did something a little different. Urban Meyer came in was as an early spread guy and was able to win at Florida with Tim Tebow, a generational quarterback, got him the Heisman. But everybody else has just struggled and it's kind of fallen apart. And maybe, just maybe, Ford isn't as good a job as people think.
It's not. I mean, you have fans that have these unrealistic expectations, probably thanks to Spurrier. And, you got a fan base that thinks they're Bama, and they're not even close.
Right.
And so you get these coaches that, they come in and they wilt under the pressure. And then you get, an AD situation where, they don't have the best judgment. They play buddy ball sometimes. They really, I don't know what they were thinking when they hired Ron Zook. I don't know where that one came from. That was baffling. I get the Dan Mullen hire. That's the Urban Meyer tree. I guess I can understand the Will Muschamp hire because you're thinking, okay, he's the new coordinator. He's going to get the head job at Texas, so why not hire him in Florida? McElwain, that one was a head scratcher. He had one good year at Colorado State. I don't know how that parlays you into the Florida Gators job, but nonetheless, they've had some head-scratching hires. Their assistant hires have been even more baffling.
Yeah.
Charlie Weiss being one of them. Todd Grantham, somehow he got – well, I know how he got there, but still doesn't make it any better. Some of the offensive coordinators they've hired were heard of them, first of all. And just some of the decisions that are made there, I don't get it. Like, I don't know that they really have a plan and know what they're doing in that athletic department. So,
Well, people will go to Georgia, DGD, because they assume the narrative is that is a great job. But they keep losing and losing, and it'll become a cycle if you let it. It'll become Tennessee, honestly. If it wasn't for Urban Meyer, they would already be Tennessee and just be in that little death spiral trying to replace Spurrier over and over and over again. But Urban Meyer kind of propped them up and found something different and a little bit of success. And now they're trying to recreate that with Dan Mullen. But if this doesn't work, that's going to require a system change. And they're going to have to change the way they do things. And that is going to set them back a couple of years. And I don't know if their fan base can handle it.
They can't. And they won't. They'll end up trying to find the it name, which is not always the best option. They try to make the splash instead of trying to hire the best person. Like, one of the things Georgia did that I thought was really good is they vetted Kirby. They've been vetting Kirby for a long time. They felt like he was the best option for what they needed.
Let's be honest. Kirby was the golden calf from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
Yes. He was.
There wasn't much vetting that had to happen. It just was a matter of the timing being right on both sides.
It all happened before. Like, when they made the move, they'd been vetting him all season. They knew they'd made the decision a year out that Rick was gone. Like there was no way. And then the only thing that threw it off was, he won towards the end of the season. He had that winning streak after the Florida game, after the Florida debacle that year. But then Kirby became available, so they were like, "Man, we got to move now." So that's kind of how that played out. But they've been eyeing Kirby for a couple of years at that point, so they had done their homework. That's who they wanted, and they made it happen. Florida's got to have that person. Like when they hired Dan Mullen, it was kind of like, who do you want?
Yeah.
Dan Mullen. Okay, Dan Mullen. Yeah. Mississippi. Yeah, he won 10 games at Mississippi State one year. Yeah, let's get Dan Mullen. Let's get him. Like that's not like I don't think they evaluate. I don't think their system of evaluation, whatever it was, it just didn't. I don't know. Like you got to like dig deeper in those scenarios. You can't look at wins in those scenarios. You got to look at losses and how they handle losses, and how they recruit, how they do things.
That hire did seem kind of. It did seem kind of rushed, almost like they just knew he was about to be hired somewhere and they wanted him, so they just grabbed him real quick without really looking into it too hard. Just from what little I can remember of it, I remember it just it all happened really quickly.
Yeah, after 2014, Florida tried desperately to get Hugh Freeze. That fell through. And they settled on Jim McElwain because it was Hugh Freeze or bust. And they ended up getting Jim McElwain, and obviously that didn't work out well, and they ended up with Dan Mullen later, and that's not working very well either. DGD podcast asked us, how is Corral? Corral is about 50 to 60% at this point. Both of his ankles are injured, and all of our wide receivers are injured, and our starting tight ends are injured. So the offense is going to struggle a little bit. And my take that I put out on all my other shows, and we could talk about that right now, is Matt Corral and the wide receivers need to sit down. They don't need to tough it through. You need to go in against Liberty and with the backup quarterback, Luke Altmaier, and the young freshman wide receivers, which should be talented enough to beat that team, and because you need them against Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the most interesting thing about the Ole Miss game this weekend is who's going to actually play. Because I read an article where Lane Kiffin was saying that 9 of y'all's 11 starters from the beginning of the season are injured.
Building
that's
that
just
depth,
ridiculous. Yeah.
Building that depth. Feed Snoop Connor. That's the key.
Him and Parrish.
DPD also talked about Mel Tucker. My prediction for Mel Tucker is that either Michigan State's going to throw the freaking bank at him. Michigan State will do that, or it's going to be LSU for him.
He made about $3 million with that win over Michigan Saturday. Whether at Michigan or LSU, he is going to be a $7 million coach going into next season, regardless.
Yeah, and he should be. I think he earned it. I hope. Part of me hopes he stays because I want Mel Tucker to build something there. But money talks, I guess, right? SEC is the pull of the SEC is just strong, man. So, I think Mel Tucker. I hope they make it in the playoff. That would be a great story. Michigan State, Mel Tucker. I think he's doing a tremendous job there. So, playoff rankings, we're number 3.
And deserve it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They looked good. Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker is amazing. He reminds me what I'm about to say is the hottest of hot takes. Okay? Understand that I understand that. But the last player that I saw in college football that had an impact like he had on the game was Marshall Faulk.
Ooh.
That's high praise.
Mm-hmm.
That's very high praise. It's not a piping hot take, but it's high praise.
It's up there.
So on our next episode of Big Ten After Dark, Sparty.
Yeah, seriously.
Very
Mel Tucker After Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Tucker After Dark, yeah. So yeah, that's when you look at the playoff rankings, Alabama number 2, Michigan State 3, and Ohio State 4. Do we think they got it right? Cincinnati all the way at 6.
Oregon's 4. Ohio State's 5.
Oregon's 4.
Ohio State's
That's
out.
Yeah. Ohio State's
That's right.
5th.
The wrong Big O. That's right.
Yeah.
The wrong Big O.
And they deserve it because their loss was with Joe Moorhead in the hospital for what's going on. Oregon's legit, man. People need to come into terms with that. They're behind Georgia and Alabama because they're obviously the top 2 teams. But I could see a Georgia, Alabama, Michigan State, and Oregon top 4, and that being an excellent college football playoff. I would love to see Georgia versus Oregon and Alabama versus Michigan State. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all 4 very worthy teams. I would love to see Michigan State take it to Ohio State and win the Big Ten. That's what they've got ahead of them if they want to stay there. But, it's going to be insane.
Appreciate it, Jay.
The way it picked up. So glad they can't be stopped. I like the stop sign. The stop sign is a nice touch. So yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that Cincinnati's number 6.
You know what? I don't know if I like that Cincinnati is number 6.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not sure about that.
I like that they're not number 4 or number 3.
Them getting put at 6 means that their future is TCU from 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to get in. This is the committee saying, "Hey, you're a cute story. You're a cute team, and you have a top 10 win, but we don't give a crap because you're Cincinnati." And
they got to do more though, Steve.
What do they have to do? They've won every game on the schedule, including a top 10 win.
And it's not like they're in a mid-major league.
They have to not struggle against 1-win teams.
No.
Like
Struggle, I don't care about. I don't care about struggle. I just care about winning the game, and they've won every game that's in front of them, including Notre Dame, which is a top 10 win. And this committee values wins on everybody else. Mississippi State is ranked because they have 3 top 25 wins. Cincinnati should get the same treatment.
Steve, I'm with you, but the committee is obviously making a statement here. You win big.
Yeah, they're also making the statement that the playoff needs to be expanded. They're doing this is political. You want to get in the playoff, expand it. And this is a bad day and a bad thing for the alliance, and it was very short-sighted.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'll
expand it. Let's do it. Do it now. Expand it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a comment that DGD, just made in the chat about they're going out the eye test. The committee is supposed to go by the best teams. That's what they always said. And honestly, like Steven said, I believe they got the 4 best teams in college football at 1, 2, 3, 4. So
at this moment, yes.
At this point, yes. I mean, Georgia and Alabama, if Alabama runs a table, they're still going to play each other. And if something happens, Alabama wins the SEC championship game, Georgia's going to get that 4th spot regardless because they're going to have 1 loss. So, and Alabama may jump to number 1. I don't know. It just depends how the rest of the games play out. But the 4 best teams are the top 4 right now, no doubt.
And if you look 9 games ago, against Cincinnati 9 games ago, it took a last-second field goal by the number 1 team in the country to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. The whole point of this is they're not going to make the playoff. It doesn't matter what they do. And the fact that if they want to make the playoff, it needs to be a 12-team playoff, and you need to get all the group of 5 conferences in line and just kind of blow up the alliance. Like I said, this is a bad day for the alliance.
Very bad day for the alliance. And, if they want change, they've got to, honestly, there's got to be some chaos that happens. And a lot of major shakeup within the rankings, and Cincinnati just needs to just keep on winning.
How about Oklahoma guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, again, there's a
Speaking
statement.
of struggle wins, you can't barely beat Kansas Pick the second 10 teams in the college football, 17 and Kentucky 18. That's 5 out of 6. You look at their schedule; they're just
Minnesota. So there you
tight. Hire, who was the Arizona baseball coach. That sounds like a Scott Woodward hire. It just does.
Yeah, it does. Probably will. Be. So, yeah.
And we got some Windows 95 going. Look at that. Corey is going to play Oregon Trail over here for us.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. I tried to forward the. I just tried to forward the.
Him and his Commodore 64. Look at that. There we go.
He died
his
of
Commodore
dysentery.
64 went out.
You've got mail.
All right.
That's my magic trick, guys.
Corey has dysentery.
I lost 4 oxen in that one. There's all I lost. God almighty. I lost all my horsepower here. Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is fun.
Oh, look at that.
This is entertaining. Yeah.
This is our impression of Corey Burton as a Picasso.
Streaming from a CB radio. Yes, I am.
Remember next week, Corey is going to be on AT&T Fiber next week. There's no longer needs for AOL Disk or his Net Zero account, and he won't have any troubles with Prodigy.
Prodigy is a prodigy. Good Lord. This is
impressive, Corey. This is very impressive.
Well,
There we
go
go.
again.
I'm going to be a logo from here on out.
You know, this is because you bragged about switching to AT&T Fiber next week.
Yep.
This is all because of that. This is straight karma.
It totally is. Here I am.
Did you pay first
I
minutes
did not
of
pay my
Christmas?
minutes.
Boy, the
My
challenge.
boost phone just went out.
I'm glad we got more
Boost
people on
hotspot.
here so they can roast Corey instead of me.
Jesus. Hey, look at this.
Oh, this is Corey's impression of a Jackson Pollock. Look at that. Look at the brush strokes.
Man,
It's amazing.
put the next Michelangelo on the screen here.
I mean, I have to bring my artistic style to the show, okay?
Yeah.
Now you sound like Max Headroom. Hey, there you are.
All right.
You guys are just because I'm the artist.
What a show it's been
that's-
so far.
Looks like Minesweeper.
Yeah. That is good. Corey didn't pay his internet.
Oh, shit. The comments are. I love these comments. These are awesome. Oh god, Cricket, Justin, you're awesome.
Gosh, this is great.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Let's get into this week because it's after 10 o'clock, and like I said, I don't want us to be here 2 hours tonight.
That's true. All right. So what do we got this week? Who is anybody playing this week? Tennessee, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Jeb.
I don't know. Kentucky just got beat by Mississippi State using that fun Mike Leach offense. So I don't know if they're going to be ticked off or if they're just kind of broken and we're going to be able to come in with that up-tempo offense and roll over them too. It'll be interesting to find out. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide who all we've actually got out for this game because we're kind of like Ole Miss with everybody beat all up. But honestly, I don't know. It's just we'll see. If Kentucky's run game can take care of business. Tennessee's actually been better on defense than I thought, so it'll be fun. But this is our chance to get to 7 wins for this season. So it's an important game for Tennessee.
Do it.
Yeah. I said this game was my upset pick, and that was when Kentucky was favored. It's actually moved to a pick 'em at this point.
Yeah.
But I really like Hendon Hooker, and I expect Tennessee to win this game outright. They're explosive. Hendon Hooker is a criminally underrated quarterback in the SEC this year.
He's having a great season, and I am shocked by that. He was my least favorite of all the quarterbacks coming in. and he is just taking over. Well, of course, we lost Harrison Bailey, so
yeah, it's not a big loss apparently.
no.
Where do you think he ends up? Speaking of which,
I don't know. Somewhere that hopefully better suits what he does, because he just doesn't fit into Josh Heupel's system. It doesn't look like so.
yeah, maybe so.
I
him
think
and Hooker.
I think sneaky Illinois.
Huh?
Illinois. I think that is a sneaky pick for Harrison Bailey.
I still like him. I hope he does well.
Do really well in that offense.
Or Wisconsin. Go to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or Iowa. They need an accurate passer for the 6 passes they throw. So, yeah, I mean, for Tennessee defensively, all they got to do is stop Chris Rodriguez and find a way to clamp down on the quick screens to Wan'Dale Robinson, because that's the NFL way, man. I don't know if you guys have been watching NFL football lately, but all they do is throw screens.
Yeah.
And that's what Liam Cohen does. All he does is throw screens. He tries to screen to death Will Levis. They go downfield every once in a while, but for the most part, they're going to keep it short and they're going to get the ball out quick, and they're going to try to run. And it's just basically another form of running the ball. And Tennessee can stop that and tackle well. Tennessee's got to be able to tackle well in space. If you can tackle well in space, Ducky is they're
which in the past been a big problem for Tennessee. That whole tackling thing wasn't really our thing for the last few years, but this year they're doing a lot better. So I have high hopes this year.
And Will Levis, I am sticking with it, and it is apparent every week. He is Kenny Trill. He had one good game at the beginning of the season. He has rode that success after that, and their offense has struggled and looks just like it did last year. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. You stop the run against Kentucky, you beat them.
And that good game was against Missouri?
Yeah.
Apparently AT&T stopped the run on the internet.
ULM, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which beat Liberty, by the way, who almost plays this week, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Liberty. Yeah, so good news about AT&T stopped my run like Tennessee's going to stop Kentucky's run. So, yeah, I think when you look at this game, Tennessee, I think it's going to be too much for them. That offense is going to be tough to deal with, and Georgia's going to have their hands full this week. But it's a very, very tough style of play. It puts a lot of stress on you. And he's found a way each week to not have it put stress on their own team, which is one of the downfalls of playing up-tempo stuff. So, there you go. Ole Miss Liberty, Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to massage this the best I can.
Hugh Freeze.
But Hugh Freeze is coming back to Oxford. Malik Willis is their whole team. They dropped a game as a 32-point favorite to Louisiana Monroe. If we can't run the ball on Liberty, we have problems. I think we should sit Matt Corral this week, and I think we should sit our wide receivers and get ready for A&M. And hand the ball off. Luke Altmaier looked really good against Auburn. He settled that game down and gave us a chance to come back in it. And that's what I say about that game. This line at 9.5. This could be a mortgage game, I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's perfect. I hope we beat that out of Hugh Freeze, to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan of Liberty University. If you know why, just do your research on the university. I'm gonna go off Jeeves real quick. So let's look at another game. Auburn, Texas A&M. Where you stand on this?
Yeah.
You like Auburn as much as the fans like the Bears.
Jake is very much a War
Just
Eagle
kidding.
guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much a War Eagle guy, just like Corey's a Go Gators guy. But anyway, but yeah, I don't know. This kind of scares me.
I can't do that.
I believe A&M can do it because they are at home and they're very, very tough at home. But I mean, the way Auburn's playing right now, and yeah, they have had some lucky breaks. If we got any Auburn people on here, I'm sorry, but y'all just got plain luck right now. and y'all always do. It's that voodoo down there we always talk about. I don't know what it is, but away from home, you're not as good. So we'll see. But I'm hoping Texas A&M takes care of business.
You know, Jake, on 2nd and 26 in the national championship, I would have taken a little bit of luck too. So enjoy it while you can. And they're certainly enjoying a lot of it. Bo Nix is, knock on wood, playing really, really well.
They're kind of planning a vacation in our chat right now, I think.
They are.
I think a vacation's getting planned. Yeah.
Hey, come on now. JDGD, what do you? Come on now. Dollywood, huh? Okay, I'll be there. Shoot me the address. And I'll be there with I'll bring some land sharks.
Yes.
So,
don't bring your internet.
It can't get much worse, right?
Yeah, his internet weighs like 20 pounds.
It's actually, I have to carry it in a different trailer.
He's got the first laptop that's like that thick.
Yes.
How did you know? I got Dell Latitude 200. You know, the one that has the thing in the middle of the keyboard that
we know you have a gateway. We know you have a gateway.
Yeah, a gateway. That's perfect.
Gateway. I had the original gateway. I got rid of I upgraded from my compact Sario.
No, actually, your Commodore 64.
Well, yeah, I upgraded from there to compact.
Yeah, whatever.
Come on, Steve. You got another progression. Sorry, guys. I'm running Napster in the background, so pardon me. Downloading all the Metallica songs from Napster. So, back to college football. Biggest snub out of the top 4. Is there a snub?
Probably Ohio State, honestly, at 5. I mean, Georgia and Alabama deserves to be there. Michigan State deserves to be there. So it comes down to one place. But Oregon beat Ohio State.
Right.
I don't know how much they can. Yeah, they beat them at Ohio State.
There is no snub.
Yeah.
But they got snubbed.
But also, this is all going to change because this is the time of year when the Big 12 starts eating themselves up. I mean, by the end of the year, by the time the actual playoffs hits, you could be dealing with Michigan making the playoff possibly, and you could have snubs of Ohio State or somebody else. There's so much water to go under the bridge.
A kid's late for all computer.
Justin, I love that. I freaking love that. Justin, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I'm like dying over here.
You know what's funny though? He's talking about his top 4 and his snubs and all that. All those 4 teams are now they have a target on their back from week to week, and because of that, like somebody like Oregon or Michigan State who aren't used to it, there's a chance they could wilt and fall down to the pressure. You could see like Michigan State lose to Purdue this weekend or something like that. Yeah, they're a good team. Yeah, if Michigan State was 2, that's a different story, but they're 3, so maybe Purdue can Michigan State can survive. But it's going to be interesting because teams are going to have to play with a target on their back. And like somebody like Ole Miss, and you can see in the background that's actual meaning. Playing with a target on your back is a different type of playing that even our fan base is used to. So it really jumps up and gets you. So just be careful and understand that. Also, the Egg Bowl this year, Ole Miss is right now 16th, Mississippi State is 17th. Egg Bowl is going to be fun.
Always is. I mean, it's Pirates got those guys playing well.
Mm.
I was impressed with what they were able to do against Kentucky. I thought Kentucky was going to roll roughshod over them.
Too.
Up until last week, I just still could not buy into Mississippi State. Would just never give them credit. I got to tip my cap to them now. I got to tip my empty whiskey glass to them. It's now empty, but cheers. they're playing their ass off. Will Rogers is impressive right now. He's dialed in, and they're just rolling, man. And Mike Leach going off about candy corn. I mean, that's right on point for him. But I mean, his team is bought in. He finally got those guys playing. I mean, I said at the beginning of this whole deal that for Mike Leach's team, it was just going to take experience. They were just going to have to play because they're still extremely young. They're just going to have to play. And once they started playing, they started learning how to play together, they were going to get better. That's come to fruition. They've gotten better. They've bought in. And they finally got guys there that want to be there, you know, and not the Javonte Paytons that and those guys of the world that didn't really want to be there and wanted to transfer. But, you know, that's Tennessee's game. He's balling out for Tennessee, so good for Javonte. So, you know, don't fault Javonte. It just wasn't, you know, this wasn't for him. And you know, that's not what Mississippi State needed. And that's not what Javonte Payton needed. Javonte Payton needed to change scenery. Tennessee needed a playmaker. It worked out for both parties. So, I'm not mad at it, but it's you know, it certainly worked out. So I've been impressed with Mississippi State. That game's going to be a lot of fun. But for Ole Miss, they're just going to get healthy.
Well, they got to get through Arkansas first this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun for them. But that'll be a big test for Arkansas too. Like, is Arkansas for real? Like we think they have the potential to be. And when I say for real, like we're used to Arkansas winning 2 games of the year. So for real means they're on that track. I have the first iPod.
Man.
iPod. You know, the big brick.
Corey has a razor.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the water tonight. I did have a razor, low key. Those are facts. So yeah, I think, you know, I can even talk.
Playing that snake game on the phone.
Yeah, that was me. Damn, Cassidy coming out with the fire. Just chopping me down. I love it. Imagine what Colin Hill would have done with Leach had he bought in. Yeah, I can imagine he'd been really good. And right now he's playing. Right now he's like 8th string running back for the Green Bay Packers, which is not good. For him, but I still love you too, Cassidy. Don't worry. Arkansas is very intriguing. This is a very intriguing matchup. We'll kind of see the direction of which they're headed in this matchup. This will be kind of like the two rising programs. You know, one's going to trend a little further up, the other one's going to plateau a little bit. We'll see who that may be. So Arkansas has a chance here to really kind of just knock Mississippi State back down to reality, or what they say is reality. So
Arkansas minus Jalen Catalon is a different animal than Arkansas with Jalen Catalon, and I'm just really sad that he's out for the year. He's a really great player and a fantastic safety. In a game like this, he would be tailor-made for. So,
absolutely, and it's a shame, but you know, Pit Boss, you know, as DGD said, Pit Boss has got him going, man. He's playing a damn jukebox. So I like the direction they're going. I want to see them continue that trend. I know they had a rough patch there in the middle of the season, but I want to see them continue on that trend. I like the direction Mississippi State's going. So if this thing's like a hard-fought, competitive game where both sides look really good, I think you'll be able to tell a lot out of it. I mean, when you saw Ole Miss Arkansas, obviously you saw a mirror image of each other. But I thought both those teams competed extremely hard, and you could tell that they're both heading in the right direction, and somebody had to lose that game. So, you know, if you're a Mississippi State fan and you're an Arkansas fan, that's what you hope to see, and obviously you hope your team wins. But, you know, you can take a lot out of a loss, too, in those scenarios. So, remember in 19 or 20 when every team had a bye week before they played UGA? That was crazy. Yeah, I think, wasn't that 20? I think it was 20. No, maybe it was 19 because I remember A&M had a bye week before they played this, and they came in. Kellen Mond. It was pouring down rain in Athens that day. Let's move to our pick, shall we? Picks. Maybe my internet will hold up for picks. Maybe my internet will hold up better than my picks last week. Good Lord, I had a rough week.
Today's picks are sponsored by
Jake,
Prodigy.
4-6. That's where I found my information. Apparently, I picked games based on their 2002 ranking.
2002 or 97?
So at this point, it doesn't matter. Yes. The only games I got right were Georgia, Baylor, and BYU. BYU killed Virginia. And they scored a lot.
I had to see that game real quick. I turned that game on like late, like it's starting in the second quarter, and it was 28-7 BYU. I did a few things, then went back to it right before halftime, and it was 42-38 Virginia. I'm like, holy crap! I mean, that game, and then I think it been like 66-49 finish. I'm like, what an amazing game! It was crazy. If you like high scoring offenses, there you go. No defense whatsoever.
That sounds ridiculous.
It was.
It was. It was as ridiculous as it sounds. We all whiffed on SMU, unfortunately. Jed, you and I whiffed on Michigan. I did not believe this party should have.
Yeah.
We all whiffed on Kentucky. We all whiffed on
Whiskey.
Right. We all whiffed on Ole Miss, unfortunately for you, Steve. We all whiffed on Missouri. Fucking Vandy. Good Lord, man.
Do not underestimate the doors.
No kidding.
Apparently not. Clark Lee, the cyborg, won a game.
Well, no, he covered.
Let's get
Yeah.
Winning a game's another story altogether, but he covered.
That's a win for Vandy. You didn't know that, did you?
If Vandy wins, we'll have to have a whole show about that.
It's a sliding scale. Yeah, we'd have to dedicate a whole one.
Yeah.
It's a sliding scale for sure. It's like curving a test. Like if you get within a certain amount, you actually get an A. Like if you get like a 7, like if you're that kid and you get a 78 and you get curved up to a 92, that's Vandy.
Vandy's on a hard bell curve, huh?
Yep, that's right. Finally, you noticed. All right, so let's do it, shall we?
Yeah.
Georgia hosts Missouri, 38-point favorites at home. Jeb, I'm going to start with you. Does Georgia cover?
That is a huge line, but I'm still going to say yes. Missouri actually can score points from time to time, but most people can't score on Georgia, and I don't see Missouri having the type of offense that will be able to score on Georgia. It's going to take a really good team like Alabama to really put any points on Georgia. So I think Georgia covers.
Jake?
Yeah, Georgia, I think it's going to be fine. I mean, Missouri gave up 268 rushing yards to Vandy last week. They have no rushing defense whatsoever. I mean, White and all them guys is going to run all over them. It may be in the 60s score-wise for Georgia.
I think Georgia's going to rush for tree fitty between the four of them. I think Georgia's going to cover big. Steve, do you agree?
Yeah, Missouri has the worst rushing defense I've ever seen. Period.
It's awful.
And this is coming from an Ole Miss fan. With the defense has been historically bad over the last 4 years. But Missouri is the worst rushing defense I've ever seen. Also, they are running out of opportunities to start JT Daniels. If they go into the playoff, into the championship game with Stetson Bennett, they're in trouble. We've seen that show before. They need JT.
Yep. They need JT. And I think JT needs to play in this game. I think they just need to realize JT is the one that's going to push the ball down the field. He gives us the best chance to win. And have a package for Bennett if you want. But JT needs to be the guy. Ole Miss hosting Liberty, and freezes. Ole Miss is 9.5-point favorites in Vaught Hemingway. Jeb.
I'm definitely taking Ole Miss. They may not blow out Liberty as bad as they can, just because I think hopefully they rest a lot of people and let some of their backups get some work in and some of these starters get healthy. But they'll still beat them by good 3 touchdowns at least.
Jake?
Yeah, if Corral doesn't play, that backup come in the other day, like Steven said, and played really well. I was really impressed with him. So if they give him the ball, I think he can at least get like a 2 to 3 touchdown win for Ole Miss without any problems.
I agree.
Yeah, I think you will see Ole Miss run the ball, and there will be a situation where they just escort backs into the end zone, and they'll have no trouble with Liberty.
Yeah, Ole Miss will cover this game on the ground for sure. A&M hosting Auburn. Kyle Field, 4.5-point favorites at home. Almost a pick 'em, but just outside of the range enough to where you have to kind of worry about the spread. Jeb?
Yeah,
Does Auburn continue their lucky streak?
I don't think so this week. This is obviously with the spread you can tell one of the tougher games of the week and probably going to be one of the better ones, especially in the SEC. But no, I think A&M's defense is just too good. I think Auburn runs into a brick wall this week.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it seems like that win versus Alabama has rejuvenated this team, this A&M team, and they wasn't bad. Calzada, we say what we say about him, but he has played a lot better. And I think, that rushing attack A&M has is going to be too much this week as well.
They're not a bad team, A&M. They just were playing. They were just playing very inconsistently to the start of the season. I guess they were trying to get some timing stuff down with the quarterback issues that they had. I think Auburn's red hot right now. I do think Auburn's going to win this one. And if they don't win, I think it's going to be a field goal game regardless. So I'm going to take the Tigers on the road here. I just think for some reason they've just got something going on. I think A&M's the better team, but I think Auburn is.
Keep pushing that knife in my back, Corey.
I think A&M is going to be able to establish Isaiah Spiller and A-Chain. And Auburn is not going to have an answer for that, because if Texas A&M can win the lines of scrimmage like they did against Alabama, you can get those guys like Spiller and A-Chain loose, and you could see a 2 or 3 touchdown win by A&M this week.
Wait, okay, so my internet just told me that Jason Campbell, Cadillac Williams, they're not a factor at all. Ronnie Brown.
It looks like your internet
Carlos
is telling us
Hansky.
about Stan White.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson. Come on.
Yeah, no. Patrick Nix now.
Yeah, Patrick Nix.
Yeah.
Shug Jordan.
Bo Jackson.
Arkansas hosting. Yeah, Bo knows.
Yeah.
Bo definitely knows internet. Arkansas at home, 5-point favorites. Mississippi State. Jeb.
Yeah.
Do the Hogs win it?
Leach's offense, I still can't figure out when they're going to be good and when they're not. I bet against them last week, and I was completely wrong, but I'm going to again just because Arkansas, I just love the way they play, and they've been so good this season up until, they've run into the hard part of their schedule, and they're obviously not a top-tier team, but they're still good. And Mississippi State, like I said, I can't figure out. So I'm going with Arkansas.
Yeah, I think Arkansas being at home is going to be the advantage, and Arkansas, they got a lot to play for now because they was red hot. They kind of hit a brick wall, and now if they want to get that 7-win season that they all talked about, they're going to have to win this game.
Yeah, they're going to have a physical Mississippi State. I just think. Again, Mississippi State has kind of figured themselves out a little bit. They've kind of found their identity and what they're good at. No, you're finding it hard to predict what Mississippi State's going to do. I think the loss of Jalen Catalon is very thin on Arkansas. I think it's going to be tough. I think they're going to put a lot of strain on this defense, and I'm going to zig while you guys zag. I'm going to take the Bulldogs here. They're just playing some really good football right now. They're on a heater, kind of like Auburn. They're just playing really well right now, and I don't know there's a whole lot Arkansas maybe can do about it.
Yeah, I think Arkansas is going to win this game because of the drop 8 and their pass rush. I think they're going to affect Will Rogers and they're going to force him into throwing on the ball a couple times. And that's going to be enough for the Razorbacks to get the win.
All righty then. Kentucky at the grocery bag hosts Tennessee. Jeb, can your Vols? This is a pick'em, so you might as well just take the money line on this one. Who do you think is going to win? Does Tennessee win, or does the home Kentucky Wildcats win?
Nah, I think Kentucky's slide continues. Tennessee goes ahead and beats them this week. I like our offense. I like our defense. Everything's going pretty well. I mean, as well as it can right now for Tennessee. So, yeah, I'm taking Tennessee.
I'm actually going to go Kentucky. Just another game. It's a pick 'em, and Kentucky's at home. They play better at home than they do on the road. Their offense, is not that great outside of Robinson, but how healthy is Tennessee? That's another big question going into this game. So we'll see on the field Saturday, but I think Kentucky wins by a field goal.
I'm going to take the Vols here, man. Just style and pace of play. I think Tennessee has a more of a plug-and-play offense than most teams in this conference. So I feel like they can sustain injuries a little bit better than most. They've done that thus far this year. They've had a bunch of injuries to this point, and they're playing really, really good football right now. And I think the style of play, the blitzkrieg style of offense that they do, is going to put Kentucky back on their heels a little bit. In the run game, I think is going to give them some fits. I think Kentucky struggled a little bit in the run game against Georgia, and struggled when Georgia went tempo a little bit. I think Kentucky still figured themselves out offensively. I still think they're just, year one of an NFL-style offense. It's a tough deal. It's a tough ask for any program to do that, much less Kentucky. And they're certainly kind of playing up and down offensively, like they're going through those growing pains. I think Tennessee's going to exploit that. Give me the Vols.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. I think Jabari Small is going to have a sneaky good game and is going to open up the deep plays and everything, throwing the ball with Hendon Hooker. And I don't think that Kentucky can score with Tennessee. And if you don't throw the ball to Kentucky and do sudden changes and really get affected by their defense scoring, I think Tennessee has a chance to win this game fairly comfortably.
All righty. We know where you stand on this. Bama hosting LSU minus 28 half. Denny, why? Jeff, can you Bama for this?
20.5, yeah, they can cover that. I think LSU peaked after the Florida win. That was a great win for them, but now they're running their part of the schedule. They're not going to win too many more games, and they're certainly not going to beat Alabama. So the only question is, can Bama cover? And unfortunately, having played them recently, I know, yes, they can cover.
Jake, we know where you stand.
Yeah, we still have not forgotten the way that, what old Ed Orgeron said in the locker room after the 2019 season about F Alabama. We've still not forgotten that. I'm sure it's still up in the locker room, that quote specifically. So we are, we're going to roll, and it'll probably be a mugging Saturday.
Yeah, that's be a nice party gift for old Coach O, as he's Red Bull, ripping his shirt off, all that good stuff. Yeah, I think Bama's a roll. This thing get really and that way real fast. I'm taking the Tide.
And I would take the Tide if it was a 45-point line. I'm going to lay the points regardless. So Alabama both ways. Before we move on, this is my Coach O farewell tour story time real quick. His defensive line coach at Ole Miss was Ryan Nielsen. He's the defensive line coach of the New Orleans Saints right now. Ryan Nielsen challenged me to a fight. He challenged me to a fight because Coach O did a thing called Coach of the Day. And Coach of the Day involved a Photoshop of a coach and just put it up there in front of all the team. Well, we picked Vanilla Ice for Ryan Nielsen with the headline of Rush, Rush, Baby. And we did that multiple times to the point where he wanted to fight me and was ready to just straight meet me behind the building after the game whenever I was forced to do it. So, yes, Ryan Nielsen challenged me to a fight. That's my Coach Orr story for today.
That's a good story.
People just can't take a joke.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Photoshop. Like,
Yeah,
that's
Becky made the
fight
Photoshop, by the way. So I did, that fight was because of something Becky did.
Nice. Well done. It'd be like me trying to fight everybody in the chat because they made fun of my internet. How dare
I'm
you?
surprised you can read
How
it.
dare you?
Actually, from stories I heard, I don't think that's the only time Sheepot got you attacked
Yeah.
there at Ole Miss. So
Yeah, the Frank Wilson dressed up as Flavor Flav was pretty good too.
Man.
Yeah.
Savage around here.
yeah.
So what happened? Speaking of savage, this is actually the opposite of savage. Florida on the road, -18 at South Carolina. Finally, a spread that they can cover. Maybe a game they can win. This might be a good recruiting. Wait, no, they don't recruit, so never mind.
Not until it's
The
time to
Gator.
recruit.
Not to when that is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jeb, does Florida cover this one?
Oh, I think pretty easily. Yeah, South Carolina is just not good this year. Just not good. And
They
Florida,
might want to try that recruiting thing too.
Florida's got all kinds of problems, but they're not going to have too many problems this week with South Carolina. No.
Yeah, it still seems like there's a quarterback controversy there at Florida, but I don't know. AR I felt like was set up to fail in that Georgia game, being the starter, but I think they get it together this week. And like Jeb said, this South Carolina team is awful right now, so it's going to take Beam a little while to get some guys in. If he can do it, it remains to be seen. But I think Florida covers easily.
Yeah, in all seriousness, South Carolina's just completely depleted, and they've just got to build that roster back up over the next 3, 4, 5 seasons. And I think Beamer will eventually be the guy that can do it if they're patient enough with him. But that's not going to be this week, and Florida is pissed off.
Yeah.
I think AR-15 is going to be the future quarterback. I think he's going to have to learn. Unfortunately for him, yes, he was set up to fail, but I think it was also a good learning experience for him to go through that whole Georgia thing. Because now he's going to learn how to deal with it and come back and respond. I think he's going to rebound in a big way. And so I like Florida to win. I like Florida to cover. And I think it's going to happen. So, Steve?
Yeah, 2 stats that this might be the last time you can use this. But Florida is 2-7 in their last 9 against Power 5 teams, with wins only against Tennessee and Vanderbilt. And they have the same record as South Carolina. Now, I think they're going to beat South Carolina. They're both 4-4, but I think they're going to cover this line fairly easily. But, those 2 stats are too much fun, so I had to mention them.
Teams that are too much fun. Texas, if they could convince the official Iowa State, to sure that once it's past the second quarter, they don't set the quarter past 2. So they just keep it on the second quarter. So Texas thinks it's the first half, and maybe they'll play like it. They've wilted, and again, this is a whole culture shift for the Longhorns under Sark. I think you see flashes of it, but also you see flashes of what they did with weirdo Tom Herman. And this Urban Meyer tree gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Like you have, it's odd. So Iowa State host Texas. Iowa State -6.5. This is the late season Iowa State that everybody knows and loves. Texas could certainly win this game. Jeb, do you like the Longhorns here to finally put together 4 quarters, or do you like?
No, I like Texas, and I think that's who I'm picking to cover the spread at least, if not win this game outright. But I love their offense and what they do. But you're right, they just sort of like they start off real hot and then they disappear sometimes. And you never know what's going to happen. But but I don't know that Iowa State has the offense to really hang with them and come back on this one. So I think I'm going with Texas in this one.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm going with Texas as well. I mean, Beecham Robinson is a dude. He's a great running back. In Iowa, you know, they kind of fallen off a cliff here lately and has struggled a bit. But I think Texas, they need to win this game to at least get bowl eligible because their remaining schedule is awful. I mean, they might not win another game after this one. So if they want to get 6 wins, they've at least got to win this one. So I think Texas is going to win.
I like Iowa State here. I think, Breece Hall and Brock Purdy had a little bit of bad luck last week. But, I just think their defense is really tough. I think they're going to do a good job of stopping the run or slowing down the run game enough to where their linebackers can flow. And, just the way they play defensively, scheme-wise, is really good, and how they kind of lock up the middle of their down guys and allow their linebackers to flow and play C-gap and out. And so I just think that Breece Hall is going to get back on track. I think, Brock Purdy, I think, is going to have a good day. He's going to have to if they're going to beat Texas, and I think he does. They're minus 6.5, so they're going to have to win by a touchdown. I do think they win ultimately by a touchdown. I think it's going to be one of those where it's Texas for a long time, and then all of a sudden Iowa State just turns around and wins, and they win by 7. So I'm going to take the Cyclones here.
Yeah, it's a game that Iowa State just does not need to monkey around with Texas, and they need to play the role of a Polis action and just push this forward. Just don't mess around with them. But anyway, Iowa State's going to win this game.
Yes. Don't need to monkey around. Oh, boy. All right. Oklahoma State, 3.5-point road favorites at West Virginia, the home of the burning couch. Oklahoma State, red hot again. Outside of a loss to Iowa State, they're playing really good football. Spencer Sanders is turning into a pretty good Big 12 quarterback. And Oklahoma State does play a little bit of defense, and with this being on the road, that makes it a little tough. West Virginia's tough at home, but I think ultimately, when you look at the spread, I will tell you in just a minute, but I'm going to let Jeb tell you.
Well, you mentioned Oklahoma State lost to Iowa State, and West Virginia just beat them. But Oklahoma State is a really good team. They're playing really good football right now. I think they win this game. West Virginia is not as good, but they are definitely dangerous. They can, they'll lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to, and they can beat teams that they shouldn't beat. So there's just no way to really know what's going to happen. But I think Oklahoma State is definitely the better team. So if I'm betting on them.
All right, Jake.
This is actually my upset of the week. I think West Virginia gets it done. I really like Oklahoma State, but like Jeb mentioned, West Virginia, they have lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to, but they have beaten some really, really good teams. And here's another really, really good team that they're going to play, and I think they get the upset. They're at home, and I think that's going to give them an advantage.
Absolutely. Steve?
Yeah, take Oklahoma State on this one. We're into November. We're moving towards the Oklahoma game. We don't know how many more tracks at Bedlam we're going to get. So Oklahoma State wants that game to mean as much as possible and to be playing their absolute best. I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yep. They're all roads lead to Bedlam, and they're not going to screw that up. I think they're going to be sharp in this contest. And so I'm going to pick Oklahoma State. DGD, I think the entire conference outside of Florida fans want South Carolina to win that game. So that's not a very big win there. So our last game, the Giant Killers, Purdue, host Michigan State, who are 3-point favorites in West Lafayette. West Lafayette has the same bad juju that Jordan Air Stadium has. It's just weird how that happens. They just slip up and get you. I don't understand it. So, Jeb, can they do it this week against Michigan State?
I don't think they're going to be able to do it this week. Michigan State's just playing really well right now. I think Purdue's going to have a bad couple of weeks here with Michigan State and Ohio State. And I think they're going to get pretty handily by both. So no, I think Michigan State wins comfortably.
All right, Jake.
Yeah, I agree with Jeb. I think Michigan State is playing their best ball right now. Kenneth Walker is amazing. I mean, he was pretty much the cog in that machine last week to come back from 14, 15 behind against Michigan, and for them to win that game. And I think he's going to keep rolling, and I think Michigan State's going to keep rolling as well.
Yeah, so too. I think Thorne is going to have a really big day. He's going to have to if they're going to avoid the upset. I think they're all going to do his thing to a certain degree. But, what they did really well against Iowa is they did not let the running game get taken off, and they made Spencer Petras beat them through the air, and he could not do that. They're going to force Thorne to do that for Michigan State, and I think Thorne's going to make him pay, honestly. So I'm going to take Spark here.
Yeah, I'm going to take Purdue. It's going to be a game. The Michigan State game meant a ton to the Spartans. I think there's going to be a hangover, and West Lafayette is kind of where expectations go to die.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, there you go. He's zigging while everybody is zagging. It's a 4-hour show. We enjoyed a lot of new faces in chat. When you broadcast over 2,000 channels, you're going to get a few new faces. But I'm looking forward to seeing what my upgrade can do.
Hashtag goodbye Windows 95 Core.
No.
Let's just hope it's not Windows ME.
I'm going to Windows 2000. Big upgrade. So we hope to have a Braves type of week. And, we hope you are. We hope you continue to boost the show up. We were able to add Jake to the mix. We were able to upgrade from the chat to an actual box. So that's good. We can see his face now instead of me just reading his comments. So we're delighted to have you, Jake. If you want to follow us on social media, look down below. Our main channels are right down below you. But wherever you are watching us from, we thank you for that. Check out the Palmcast. Check out Steve on the daily there. Check out Jake on Tide Talk. You can check out me eventually on Beast of the East. Not sure where that direction of that show is going at this moment, but that will we will get that figured out and sorted out. But you can also catch me on Believe in George Dogs with Israel Troop. We got some good things going there. We got some things cooking there, and of course the Legal Motion College Football Podcast as well. I cover the entire country on that show with Matt Perkins and Josh Cook. Two Big Ten guys, actually. I got to show them what's up with the Southeastern Conference. But again, we thank you for listening. We hope you have a great rest of your week. We hope you have an even better weekend. We hope all your picks hit. We hope all your teams win. Unless you're a Florida fan, sorry. South Carolina's got to get some love too, right? So we hope you have a great week. And again, even better weekend. We thank you for listening. We thank you for watching. Catch us. Follow us on Twitter. Hit us up on social media. Steve is a good follow. Jake is a good follow.
Yeah.
Dave, you got to start.
And follow me.
You got to start.
I haven't figured out this whole social media thing yet.
And follow Jake. Yeah. Don't. So yeah, it's a slippery slope, Jeb. So yeah, we got to. Next thing you know, you'll be retweeting Pole Assassin. So. And commenting on her monkey.
Oh my gosh.
We mean an actual monkey. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about an actual monkey. Yes. So whoever's mind was in the gutter, congratulations. Anyway, that's going to do it. With that, we're out. Go Dogs.
See ya.